Hello, 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 and welcome to the Health and Wellness Podcast. This is Dr. Barry, MD, your host here today. I'm going to bring you another exciting show, at least hopefully it's exciting. We're going to talk about some exciting issues and, kind of a topic that I think is kind of underrated, but maybe you guys will hopefully, get some out of it. Before we do all that, we got to do, of course, the typical advertisements. Again, you can always find me on my Instagram at Dr. Barry, MD. That's at DRBARRYMD. Also, check me out on the blog we created designed to help you give the latest information on health and wellness, as well as this podcast. So you can always check us out there. Address is www.controlyourweight.com. Again, that's weight is spelled W number 8. Again, www.controlyourweight.com. Facebook, another exciting social media site a lot of people are a member of. Check me out. I'm on there. Again, the address is www.facebook.com/nextlevelweightloss. And that's all spelled normally, by the way. Again, so thank you for coming back to check us out on the Health and Wellness Connection. I appreciate the positive feedback I'm getting on some of the shows we've been doing. Thank y'all for listening. Of course, one more thing I forgot to mention, soundcloud.com/HW Connection. All spelled as one word. That's where the SoundCloud pages. You can get all the shows uploaded there at the time of this broadcast, which of course is broadcast on the most amazing internet radio station on the universe, in the multiverse, you should say, actually. Truly is the best. That's AfroVibesRadio.com. You can go there. Spelled AfroVibesRadio.com. Check out the hottest online internet Afrobeat station. Of course, it's amazing too because it's broadcasting yours truly, again, on the Health and Wellness Connection, which you can always hear on AfroVibesRadio.com at approximately 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, Thursdays. Again, so thank you for coming back. So today's show is going to be about a topic I hold, or I think is very important but underrated, and that is French fries. You may think, French fries? What do you mean? French fries are one of Earth's heavenly gifts given to the culinary gods, you say. French fries obviously are one of the more delicious items you can eat, but the problem is that they do have a lot of issues that I think negatively affect many people's diets, and I think that's unwittingly because it's kind of used so regularly in many meals. People think it's something that it's not bad if it's eaten in high quantity. And today I wanted to kind of talk more about French fries and, what I have issues with them with. It sounds crazy. How could I have beef with some of the most delicious items you can order on a menu? And I call myself a foodie as well. Yeah, I know I'm kind of committing culinary sacrilege here, but hey, hear me out. This is something I think is something that I'm not calling for the end of all fries. I mean, my God, I'm not crazy here, but I do think we should all reevaluate how we approach fries in our diet, and maybe if we understood some of the more dietary ramifications for fries and how fry abuse or fry overindulgence, if you will, can lead to some serious issues, we can maybe make some better choices and potentially learn about other options that are quite delicious as well in their own way. I'm not going to say they're better than fries, because I don't want to start a fight anywhere. I don't want to be caught out here at a restaurant getting attacked by a fan of the French fry. So definitely, and I do eat fries still. I mean, I'm not someone who's like, look at you crazy if you order a bucket of fries, but I think we need to talk about it and figure out how much fries are too much and what are some good alternatives. So first off, the fry obviously is something that's derived from the potato, and I think that's what we need to talk a little more about potatoes and kind of how I think their history kind of played into the role why they're so ubiquitous in especially American cuisine as far as potatoes and French fries. Again, the potato is one of those food items that's very significant, especially in Western culture, because it's pretty much credited as ending the famine in Northern Europe, and its kind of importance was essentially ingrained in the culture, which led to its importance in the cuisine. And I think that obviously carried over to America, and I think it led to the potato being one of the more primary food sources for many cultures and communities. So the potato was one of those items that was extremely important historically. So obviously potatoes and their derivatives are going to be common parts of American cuisine, and I think the French fry is one of those items that obviously resulted from that. Potatoes obviously aren't unique to American cuisine. You can pretty much find them in every culture now because they're essentially ubiquitous now. They're pretty much been grown and cultivated all over the globe. So potatoes are an excellent food and had a very important role in the development of modern humanity, mainly because they were a very, very important source of really calories. You could really, potatoes are one of those foods you could really eat a little bit of and you can gain a large amount of calories, primarily because potatoes are a storage vehicle. That's their primary function. They are a legume plant, meaning they're root based, so they have large stores of energy. This is what the potato, aka known as, it's basically a starch, does. So potatoes are great because, in a sense, they can be excellent sources of high energy for people who are, where food is a scarcity. And for that reason, it's been adopted by many cultures because it's something that can be eaten and sustain large amounts of people, and it's relatively cheap and it grows and it's renewable. So potatoes are obviously very important. But because of this cultural significance, I think potatoes potentially are being over abused, if you will. And I think French fries is a great example of that. Now, the beauty of potatoes is that they're a great energy source. And because of this energy source, they don't require a lot to really give you a satisfying taste. You can eat a handful of French fries or a handful of potatoes and feel pretty full quickly. That's because they're calorie dense. Now, unfortunately for the potato, the nutrition value isn't the best, especially when compared to some of their other counterparts in the vegetable and other items that we'll talk about later. But potatoes definitely are lacking. Now, let's talk about the good things potatoes. Now, potatoes are low in fat, again, assuming you don't fry them, which is a part of my beef with French fries. But let's say a regular potato that's baked, it's low in fat. It's high in potassium, which is also a very important mineral that everyone needs. And they're relatively high in fiber, about 4.7 grams of fiber per serving, which is about anywhere from 213 grams of a potato. Now, vitamins, not really a lot going on there. You do have a lot of vitamin C and vitamin B6 and magnesium, very significant portions of the potato makeup. So you do get some B6 and some vitamin C, which are all important vitamins. But otherwise, vitamins could do better. There's a lot of more nutrient-dense items you could eat and probably gain better vitamin intake, especially given the calories you consume with potato, which are pretty high in calories. Now, if you actually, this is a dry potato. It's about 163 calories per one medium-sized potato. Let's say 2 to 3.25 inch in diameter. Typical serving size. That's one. And most people eat about 2 or 3. So each potato about 160 calories. Maybe 2 or 3 potatoes dry is already about almost 600 calories. And most meals you want to have around 600, 800 calories. Now, of course, that varies based on your weight. But meals, you don't want to get too much because you want to eat a lot of them. And that's something I talk about a lot in my book, Next Level Weight Loss 2.0. Please check that out if you're interested in kind of meal planning. We have a new book coming out, by the way, which we'll talk about when it's close to that time. So anyways, potatoes by themselves are already calorie dense, that we just talked about. However, French fries are even worse. Now, we talked about how a simple potato, about 213 grams, 2 to 3.25 inch in diameter, is about 163 calories. Now, if you fry just a bowl of French fries, 117 grams, which is really about a small serving size in a kitty size McDonald's, a small or kitty size McDonald's size, is about 365 calories, almost 400 calories, which is a significant amount of calories because that's most, light meals are about 400 total calories. So fries by themselves are very calorie dense, especially French fries. The oils also are important too, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Now, of course, French fries, and including to being very, very high in calories, they're also high in saturated fat, which we know is bad for causing coronary artery disease. They're relatively high in sodium. They still have the potassium, which is, again, part of the potato's profile, so they'll still be high in potassium. So if you have those people who suffer from low potassium, French fries can help, but they can also kill you in other ways, so you want to be careful. Again, they have that significant fiber profile, and again, the other vitamins we mentioned are also there as well. So with French fries, obviously, they're very, very high in calories. So, and that's just a small amount, which is when we talk about 117 grams. It's about, again, a small size kitty French fries, let alone the medium or super size French fries. I mean, you literally maybe consuming up to 1,000 calories or even more based on how big your supersized bucket of fries is. And those are definitely, diet destroyers. So if you want to destroy your diet, then go ahead and order those supersized fries. And unfortunately, you will probably on medication in a few years. So, and I'm not trying to be silly here, but the reality is that French fries, if consumed regularly, can be, quite disastrous to the diet. So you want to be careful how you consume them. I'm someone who likes to compare French fries to cake because they're kind of similar as far as their calorie profile. And if we ordered cake with every meal, which some people do, unfortunately, and that's something we got to talk about later, but if you're ordering cake with every meal, cake for, let's say a burger with a side of cake, or, a dinner with a side of cake every meal, you're probably going to gain weight. You would know that. I mean, let's be honest. French fries are kind of similar in that regard. So if you're someone eating a side of fries with everything you eat, a piece of chicken, big old side of fries now, or a piece of steak, big old side of fries, while delicious, it could be pretty disastrous to your waistline. So you just want to be careful. Now, I know French fries are something that a lot of people love, and I do as well. And I think the key is not banning French fries, but just understanding their caloric significance. We'll talk more about French fries as well as some alternatives and some other kind of tips regarding how we approach diets in general after the break. Again, thank you. This is the Health and Wellness Connection. We're talking about French fries today. Sounds crazy, but I think it could help. Again, tune in after the break for more. Hello, and welcome back to the Health and Wellness Connection podcast, the number one podcast designed to provide you with some of the latest and greatest information to help you achieve your health and wellness goals. Again, you're seeing us and hearing us on the Afro Vibes Radio Network, broadcasting live every Thursday, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can also see us or find us on SoundCloud in case you don't tune in or forget to tune in on Afro Vibes. Check out our SoundCloud page at www.soundcloud.com/HWC Connection, all one word. HW Connection, all one word. All right, so today's show again is about the dangers of French fries. And could they be what's destroying your dietary goals? Now, we talked about French fries and their, and the concerns we have regarding French fries and why, French fries, when consumed in high quantities, can be a really bad source of very, very high calorie content. Now, before we leave the French fries and talk about positive alternatives, I do want to take one aside to mention something that a lot of our listeners are probably consuming regularly as well. It is something that will probably pertain more to our African listeners. I know we have a lot of listeners in Nigeria. And one thing that's also could be a dietary buster or something that can be a real source of a lot of extra calories is the high starch a lot of Nigerians are consuming with their diets, especially pounded yam and semovita. I think it's very important that we look at some of the carbs that we're consuming. And when we're consuming a large quantities of carbs as our primary source of calories and nourishment, we can definitely run into concerns with potentially overexhausting our digestive systems and potentially increasing our risk for conditions that are associated with high carb consumption like obesity and diabetes. So for my folks out there who don't really eat French fries, but they're known to eat a large amount of starches like pounded yam and gari and other high starch items, consider some of the alternatives we're about to consider here today as ways you can help reduce some of the carbs that you're consuming and ensuring that you can reduce your risk of contracting conditions like diabetes and other ailments that are associated with high carb intake. Now, in regard to French fries, as we were talking about earlier, French fries are something that, again, as we stated, is ingrained in kind of the culinary, dietary kind of habits of many Western cultures. So I wanted to talk about some alternatives to French fries that maybe people may not be familiar with, but are pretty delicious and may have some nutritional benefits over those seen in regular French fries. And the first obvious substitution, which isn't really the best as far as calorie savings, but nutrition is extremely the nutrition content is much higher, and that would be sweet potato fries. Now, I'm not going to say sweet potato fries are the best option for those trying to lose weight, but there are some benefits to sweet potato fries that make them probably a better alternative, of course, in adequate or moderate quantities when compared to regular French fries. Sweet potato fries, number one, while they're slightly higher in calories, approximately 183 per medium sweet potato, these potatoes are much more nutrient dense. First off, you have large amounts of antioxidants within French fries, so that automatically gives you that cancer-fighting substrate that will help reduce risk of cancer. It also has large doses of vitamin A, as well as fiber and potassium, similar to regular potatoes. Now, the thing about these sweet potato fries, because they are sweeter, they actually do have a little bit more in the way of carbs compared to regular potatoes. So again, when it comes to calories, sweet potatoes aren't really the better option. However, they are significantly more nutritious, particularly for the antioxidants that they contain. So a good way to fight cancer is to try sweet potato fries versus French fries. Now, ideally, it's better you bake all kinds of fries. Baked fries are just better just because of the lower calorie content. And a lot of these baked fries now are pretty tasty. So consider baked sweet potato fries for getting that crunchy fry fix that people like. Another option now that people always look into, or people are using as a French fry replacement, are zucchini fries. Now, zucchini fries is one of those things that aren't really that well known, but people who have tried them almost universally love them. Why? Because zucchini fries, number one, contain zucchini, so obviously that's a very, very delicious vegetable, chock full of nutritious characteristics, which we'll go over in a second. So zucchinis are not only low in calories, approximately 33 calories per serving, one medium zucchini. Now, if you fry that, it'll obviously be a little bit higher, but it's a pretty good way to start as far as your calorie content. Zucchinis also have large amounts of potassium, similar to potatoes, vitamin A, vitamin C, almost 50% of your daily requirement of vitamin C. So very good for those who are feeling sick, as vitamin C is a great vitamin to help boost immune systems and other bodily functions, as well as vitamin B6. So they're also great for energy as well. So zucchini, can be extremely helpful or extremely nutritious, especially when compared to potatoes. Now, zucchinis also have been known to have a very, very strong anti-inflammatory profile as well. So for those people who suffer from inflammatory conditions, or who are looking to increase foods that can help reduce inflammation in the body, zucchinis are an excellent food to consume regularly, as they have a lot of health benefits, primarily those antioxidants as well as those anti-inflammatory components. So consider zucchini fries as opposed to regular French fries, primarily due to their calorie savings you get, as well as those awesome nutritional benefits. It's always ideal to consume foods that have high antioxidants as well as high levels of vitamins, as those serve two purposes. They not only give you sustenance, they can actually help prevent illness. So that's always what we want to do when we are eating, looking at foods that can help heal us in addition to nourishing us. Now, another excellent option to substitute for regular French fries would be to make French fries out of butternut squash. Butternut squash fries are an excellent way to keep those crispity, crunchy taste that people like from French fries, but actually get way more nutritious value. The big things about butternut squash, in addition to high levels of fiber, almost 4.5 grams per serving, you also get high levels of vitamin A, almost a full day's worth in one serving. In addition to vitamin B6 and vitamin C, great for energy and overall immune system health. Vitamin E, as well as calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, thiamine, just a whole host of minerals and vitamins in butternut squash. Butternut squash is one of the most nutrient-dense foods you can eat. So instead of just regular old potatoes, which are pretty bland and also lack a lot of nutritional value, butternut squash is an excellent alternative. So look for places that can serve butternut squash, especially fries and so forth, or Even air frying is a new method that a lot of people are doing now, which is significantly healthier than regular deep fat frying, as you get a lot less of the oil that tends to really result in much higher calorie content in foods that are fried. So that's another excellent option as far as French fry replacements. Another excellent option for French fry replacement are eggplant fries. Now, ideally, air frying or baking is ideal, but even frying French eggplant is significantly better and healthier than simply eating French fried potatoes. Now, eggplants are another awesome food, and let's talk about them. Now, eggplants do not have like a significant amount of one particular vitamin or mineral, but they have a huge array of multiple vitamins and minerals, making eggplant one of the most nutritious and awesome foods to really complement any other meal you're eating, or it'd be a meal by itself. Eggplants are one of the most unheralded foods out here that may not taste delicious just on their initial form, but they can be prepared in so many delicious and awesome ways, making them both nutritious and actually quite satisfying. Eggplants are unique because they actually have almost a meaty taste. But one of my favorite ways of eating eggplants is to eat a delicious dish of eggplant parmesan, and that's without the pasta, of course. I like to use zucchini pasta or some other type of vegetable-based pasta. But eggplant breaded and fried can be extremely delicious. But before we talk about ways to prepare eggplant, let's talk about a little bit about the nutrition. Eggplants, like I said, are low in calories. A cup of eggplants only have about 20 calories. So even if you fry it, it's going to be significantly lower in calories than fried potatoes. Secondly, eggplants are high in fiber. They have a significant amount of B6 as well as vitamin C, and they're just fairly nutritious. And the big thing is they're low in calories, especially compared to potatoes. So consider eggplant as another great alternative to French fries as a side dish to your next meal. And a last and still very delicious alternative for French fries would be turnips. Turnips actually, when sliced and fried, make an excellent side dish to your regular meal, and they're low in carbs, unlike potatoes. Turnips are excellent because they're high in vitamin C, B6, and they have, of course, good levels of fiber and potassium. So the beauty of turnips, they're also low calorie, and even though their roots similar to potatoes. So turnips, when sliced and cooked, can be very delicious. So consider turnips as an excellent alternative to your standard French fry that has been terrorizing people's plates for centuries. Now, lastly, for my Niger people out there, we talked about alternatives to, your standard akbo or gari or pounded yam, all these high carb containing foods that are essentially staples in many Nigerian cuisines. Semovita is actually an excellent alternative, and we're actually going to do a whole show based on Nigerian starches and the differences and what could be used and what's a better alternative. But just for the short term, consider oatmeal as a great starch to eat with that next bowl of ogbono soup or okazi soup or whatever soup you like to consume for dinner. As some of the other starches can be particularly bad if we consume them in high levels of or in high quantities, if you will. Anyways, I think we've kind of reached the end of the show here. So I just want to thank you guys for joining us today on the Health and Wellness Podcast. Hopefully, you learned a little bit something about French fries. And, I think ultimately the goal here is to not necessarily eliminate something, but learn about moderation. And French fries are one of those foods that we really need to be careful in how we consume them, as it's very easy to do damage to our waistlines if we get carried away during that next dinner where we're just going in on those French fries. So that being said, thank you guys for joining in. Next time, hold the fries, try something else, and stay fit and fabulous, everybody. This is Dr. Barry from the Health and Wellness Podcast. Thank you for joining us today. Stay tuned, as there'll be an exciting show on the next after the commercial break. Again, thank you for listening.